What's going on, guys? The Keymaster 84 coming at you guys. So today, busy day, man. Oh, I hate days like today. Crazy day at work, stressed out, just trying to get everything done, man. Trying to get everything done before my big trip. I'm excited for it, though. Just a busy day, lots to do. Gotta make things happen, so, you know, it is what it is. Gotta keep on grinding at work. For those guys who know what I'm going through, it's rough when you're trying to get everything done. You're trying to get everything done so when you do go, it's not as big a headache for your compatriots at work. You're trying not to make their lives more difficult because you're leaving. That's kind of rough, but they'll make it. I'm not worried about that. It's just a lot of stuff that I know that they don't, or they're not involved in, or it takes so much more time to explain it to somebody than instead of me just getting it done. So lots of work there. Gatekeeper has been interesting lately ever since his birthday. Been having some. His sleep schedule is a little odd right now, but working that out. It's been difficult to get on and play. Okay, all right. Sorry, I'm looking at notifications coming across my screen here. But no, just still grinding hard, doing my thing. What we're going to be talking about today is: do esports leagues grow too fast? Do they grow too fast? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going down right now in the LCS with them bringing down the ban hammer on 3 teams. One of the teams is what's the best way to, what's the word to use here? Petitioning, I guess. They're petitioning the ruling by Riot about kicking them out. And we'll see what happens. But my point along this is, in traditional, baseball, football, basketball, all this stuff, there's all these bylaws that we as normal people never see, and they've been in place so long that we'll never have to know about them. Basically. There are rules that were done so long ago that it was before how it is now, where everything's on social media, everything's talked about, everything's brought up. It's all out there because everybody's talking. It's a 24-hour cycle these days. Back when we had just newspapers, it wasn't like it is now. There was after a certain point there was a deadline. It had to be in, or it's not going in the paper the next day. And these days it's just you post when you post. People are going to catch it somehow, and so it's a lot different than it is now. But I think maybe some of these leagues got too big too fast. Honestly, they didn't have time to make these bylaws and make these regulations. And sometimes I do feel like they are kind of flying by the seat of their pants, really, making up rules as they go along, and learning things and seeing what works, seeing what don't, and it's hard, when you get in situations like this, because you're talking, it's not just the players at this point. You're talking, Renegades has spent X dollars to get to where they're at. And now, are these players, if everything goes through, and company XYZ picks up the team, are they going to keep the players? Are they going to retain the talent? It's always hard to say. You never know. Or are they going to want somebody else? And then that's where all this, it's a crazy storm right now, you guys. And I really think a lot of the other leagues that are, getting bigger day by day really need to look at what's going on in the LCS right now, and say, all right, guys, before we end up like them, maybe we should take a little look and make some of these rules, make some of these guidelines now, so that way, you know, 2 years, 3 years down the road, we're not in the same boat. And then people are like, well, why didn't you guys pay attention to what happened with Riot a few years back? You know, that, I mean, you know, that's just the way it is. I mean, and it's hard. I mean, some of this stuff, you know, these guys are new. They're not, you know, they're not people from the NFL. They're not people from MLB. They're not from basketball. They're not from the Premier League. They're, you know, these are fledgling you know, not organizations, but fledgling circuits. I mean, you know, leagues. They're, you know, I mean, LCS has only been around 5-6 seasons. I mean, it's new. It's not, you know, a lot of these other, you know, a more traditional sport has other leagues that they can look to. You know, I mean, the MLS is probably one of the newest major sports leagues, but they have all the other soccer leagues in the world to model themselves after and take all the best parts from every single one and look at all the different rules and regulations between all those and say, okay, this is the best choice for our league. This is what we want to do. And esports doesn't have that. I mean, honestly, the LCS is probably the biggest / longest running one out there. I mean, besides, you know, MLG, which doesn't have a league. I mean, so it's really hard to do it. It's hard to make it happen. It's hard. There's a lot of stuff that's involved in it that we as normal people never get to see, but now we do because of stuff like this. So I'm going to keep you guys updated on what I think about what's going on with the whole LCS situation. I really do hope some of these other teams start looking around and going, okay, guys, we need to not be the next situation. And once all this starts going down, we need to figure out what we're doing before this happens, before we make a mistake like these guys did. So we'll see. You know, it's all a learning process, but just something that, you know, we'll just see. We'll just see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens with all this. You know, I find it weird that Renegades is the only team that is putting up a fight. Impulse and Team Dragon Knights have kind of taken their punishment and gone quietly into the night. I mean, maybe they're doing stuff behind the scenes. We don't know. It's always hard to say. We'll find out, I'm sure, later going on. But right now, Renegades is the one, you know, front and center. So we'll see what happens. I do think that these leagues do need to look at making better, more, you know, robust rules, more in-depth rules. I know it'd be more complicated for us, the fan, but no one cares about, you know, Rule 365, subsection A, subsection C, paragraph 7, 7th sentence. No one cares about that. Because you got people who are in place to help explain it to people about why this is happening. And as long as you have those people in place to explain why this is happening, it won't be an issue. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think these leagues need to do and what they need to do to step up. What kind of rules you guys like to see them have in place so we avoid situations like what's going on in the LCS with Renegades right now. And to make sure, as always, guys, make sure to leave those likes and those subscribes. We greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.